All right, well, we're going to begin soon, but let this lady Jenny have the first question. She can't be on long from Brisbane.
Hi, nice to meet you, by the way. And thank you for doing this. It's yeah, I sort of stumbled upon this topic, I suppose, a little while ago now, and mostly I've been following Jim Newman and Tony Parsons and a little bit of Andreas Mueller as well. And I've only sort of been hearing yourself over the past week or so, and lots of the things that you're saying, I resonate with. So that's great. I guess I
Lost you, Jenny. Right before you could ask the question.
There she is.
We do that to everyone who's just ready to ask a question, to let them reconsider the value of asking. But
okay.
All right.
Okay. So yeah, look, I guess my question is, I listen a lot to Jim Newman and Tony Parsons, and you know, I understand. I guess I get the concept that it's you can't do anything. There's nothing for you to do.
Concerning that idea, there's plenty for you to do as an action figure. Yeah.
Oh yes, of course, but yeah, there's no way to this, and all we can do is speak around it. And like you say, you know, we can talk about what I'm not, I suppose.
Please.
Yeah. So I feel like the book, The Course of Miracles, is mentioned quite a lot. Well, I've heard it mentioned quite a bit within your dialogues, and I found it a bit prescriptive, I suppose. So I guess I'm just wanting a little bit of a comment on, you know, that there is nothing for us to do. There is no path. So I feel like I'm a little bit at odds with, you know, taking the message from Course of Miracles, and because I find it a little bit prescriptive. So yes. I'm a little bit, confused, maybe.
Yeah, let me just say the biggest influence is where you're hearing anything from. Yeah. So when you're hearing from the action figure or what you're not, that there's nothing to do, that's very confusing, because the whole action figure's programming is doing or being a doer. Yeah. So this, again, the importance of a message is where it arrives at, tell you the truth. So what my experience and observation was in spiritual dialogue, there was something was missed, where the speed of the mental state implying you in every moment is pretty damn fast. And I don't think there's a process that can outdo that. So after all the talks I've heard and hearing others and everything else, I realized without that being clear, the message won't be clear. The message isn't directed to what you're not. It's directed to what you are. So what you are can hear it and maybe entertain the idea it's not that. Yeah? So it's the same problem where someone describes that we're dreaming and we're in a dreaming. But what's claiming to hear that message is a dreamt. Yeah? That precludes the message landing, in a sense, because now the dreamt believes it's doing the dreaming, and so I should be doing myself into 50 Cadillacs or perfect joints or living forever and having sex every day or whatever it may be. their conceptual idea what a great dreaming would be, but it's always framed as the dreamt. Yeah. So to me, the Course in Miracles has no value other than the avalanches it caused that I have a sense feltness. And so the statements I use out of the Course, I haven't read them in years, basically, but they still, what they conveyed was is still echoing, yes?
Mm.
That aliveness is still stoked.
Yeah.
It stokes itself. And over time, I saw how most dialogues, how they fall into a reinforcement of what we're not. Yes?
Yes.
By talking to it or it claiming to be the hearer of the message. In the first video we ever did, we tried to share it with the sheep and a lion. Yeah? So a lot of the message is, you're a lion. And it's coming from a lion. And you may assume that person is a lion. And he or she's pointing to you that you're a lion. And you would think, being a lion, that would be a pretty quick, very succinct, very powerful communication. Yeah, lion to lion. But what happens is the sheep programming claims to be hearing the message. So suddenly the lion is, in that moment, is seemingly disguised by the act of being identified as a sheep. Yeah. So now the sheep gets the message, I'm a lion. It can only translate it in sheepness, which is I can become like a lion. That's not the message. So the whole point is to really point out that movement of the mental state that slips its image of you as before all the messages are caught. So now it's the one that's heard the message. And as soon as it's the one that heard the message, it neuters the message. Yeah.
It mutes it. Yeah.
It neuters it because it makes it something palatable to it. Yeah. So when people say there's nothing you can do, that's a fact from what you are because you're that. Yes. It's very clear when you hear it from that point. Yeah, because I am that which I've been looking for. Yeah. But what's confusing is when the claiming of, hey, there's nothing you can do is claimed by the doer. Yeah. So then it tries to not doing, and it becomes very subtle. So it gets to a point, it wants to be a non-self as a self. Yeah. It wants to have the attributes that it's imagining would be an advantage to it, but it wants to be there to have the attributes. Yeah. So I feel most of the confusion about messages is really at the point of where the message is being heard. Yeah. The message could be anything. It doesn't matter, really. It matters what or who's hearing it. Yeah.
So the action figure is pretending to hear it, kind of thing. Is that what you're saying? It's claiming that it hears it. Yeah.
Yeah. And as soon as it claims it, unbeknownst to us, it puts itself as the reference point. And now everything is seen from there. So when you hear, you're the dreaming of the dreaming, as the dreamt, it's like, what? Yeah. Or I am what I'm looking for. What? Why? I'm spending 30 years looking for it. Yeah. So,
but when,
the mental state has a huge investment.
Yeah. So when it's, I guess if it's really heard, then there wouldn't. If it's really heard, then maybe there wouldn't be an action figure anymore.
Oh, there's an appearance of an action figure. That's wishful thinking. The action figure doesn't disappear.
But I mean that energy, the energy of the energy of the me.
No, the energy is going to go through some certain redistribution, but it's there as long as there's a life, and you're seeing, hearing, feeling, thinking, tasting. There's an action figure. Yes.
But I guess the experience of the action figure that could potentially stop. No, I don't know, because I'm trying to merge different understandings.
What happens is the experiences go on, but they're not used. They're attempted to be used to imply the experiencer. What happens is there's a seeing, you're not the experiencer. Experience,
Yes.
they continue.
Yes. Yes. That's what I'm getting at. The seeing that you're not the action figure, I suppose.
Yes.
Yes.
No, see, it's really the action figure is really, to me, a depository of all the claiming. So that's how all the claiming is pictured as the body. So the doing being claimed, the doer, yeah, is attributed to the body and all that. So for me, what happens is experience happened, like supposedly Buddha said, experience happens, you know, events happen, deeds are done, but there's no individual doer thereof. So
Yeah.
there's no for there not to be an experiencer, the experience doesn't have to stop. Yeah? This is why it confuses people, but the experience continue, but there's never been an experiencer. That's the
yeah. But the seeing that you're not the action figure can happen.
It is happening now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, that's clarified it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hope to see you on Sunday, my time.
All right. Thank you, Jen.
Thanks.
Take care.
Thank you. Thanks, Paul.